So I had a quick moment to connect with you all. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Grace. I had a breakthrough moment this morning when I've been perusing the dating pool and everything. After 2 years single and celibate, um, since my last relationship, I've realized a few things, about my inheritance, if you will. For starters, this coming October, not only is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I am a stage 4 breast cancer survivor, so please, by all means, check yourself often. Don't be afraid to let your doctor know what's going on with you. You know what I'm saying? It's better than worrying and carrying baggage of stress that you don't need. Um, it's also my mother's birthday. When I rung my bell, October 4th was her birthday. She just passed earlier this year, and through healing and shedding and coming into myself, I've had a good year of really intense spiritual warfare, full armor up, right? And also, this October will be the year anniversary of my wellness certification. Um, I took a program at my local church last year and got wellness certified, and I see that I've been really utilizing conflict resolution and stress reduction and self-care a lot. So I wanted to just come on briefly and just tell y'all, a little bit about what I've experienced with my breakthrough this morning. And ironically, it was in a conversation with a guy named Lance. Shout out. But honestly, um, I've outgrown so much. There are things that I still wonder about in my past that maybe I could have zigged where I zagged, maybe I could have went right where I went left, that kind of thing. But it's only because of the things that I've learned that I really wish I could have applied earlier. And in my breakthrough, I discovered that I have been running from my wealth. It's kind of huge for me because I have been posting some things that I've been through in my past that have kind of shaped who I am and some of the traumas that I've endured that I've had to heal from and let go of so I can be this fine woman that you see today. In my breakthrough, I realized that I was running from my wealth. I am the Cinderella story, whereas her father was wealthy, okay? He married this woman and had his daughter with her daughters and whatnot that were older than her. In my situation, my father and mother didn't marry. And when my father passed, he was in the military. He was very, very affluent in the Air Force and everything. And my mother took it very hard when he passed. She never truly recovered from not just his loss, but breaking off with my half sister's father. And because I was the only one around after my grandmother passed, she kind of took a lot of that on me, not knowing how to heal, not knowing what shadow work was, etc. And I realized that my family was built on generational wealth. And I've been running from that because I didn't like the greed. I didn't like the selfishness or the manipulation. I didn't like the fact that my family, having a lot of Masonic ties, alienated a lot of us that were different, that spoke out. I spoke out on interfamily relations when I was about 6. And I told one of my aunts, and that's in my previous video, how she pretty much passed with the truth, protecting me. But at the same time, when she passed, it kind of exposed me because people didn't know the entire story about what happened to me. And even if they did, they used that to treat me a certain way, treat me different, outcast me, label me. And my mother, with her pain, fed into it a lot, you know? So I see that with all that narcissism, gaslighting, manipulation, selfishness, that I've been running from who I was because I didn't want to be like those people. I was more so trying to protect my heart and my soul, truly, from people that were just there to use and abuse my um, innocence. And at this point, I've stopped running, you know? Like, I've come into myself where it's like, what is the bigger problem here? Because these don't attack empty houses, and I knew why I was being so heavily attacked spiritually about my name, my reputation, um, things that I've been through. Like, what was the whole deal? And come to understand that it was really the jealousy of these people that put me in competitive places I am not supposed to be in. Um, and I know that there's a lot of people going through the same thing with spiritual warfare. Like, how did I become a targeted individual? Well, it's probably because of your family. It's probably because of your mother. My family is flooded with Masons and Eastern Stars, and every family reunion, I remember they would always hold a meeting before the family reunion at my aunt's house. And now that I'm older, it's easier to see where the manipulation came from and what I was running from. So now I've decided, that it's time for me to stop running and start being myself fully, because I've watered myself and dumbed myself down so much that, even on this side of the totem pole, people still take it for granted. And I never wanted to be someone that people only spoke to because of, oh, you're wealthy, or, oh, you come from privilege and all this. When I really didn't hold that in high regard because of how it tainted and blackened people's hearts and souls so badly. I've realized that I'm a little above the standards that I've been setting myself up for. And maybe a lot of people can relate as to why some relationships don't work out. Maybe because they're not supposed to. Maybe because the mirror that you're seeing in someone else is really reflecting back in you and your power. So, like I said, I wanted to be brief, and I'll probably go into this a little bit deeper. I'm tempted to really get into this as a real blog about the differences that I'm seeing in my power and versus when I was standing in my own shadow, trying to settle for crumbs or trying to say, oh, that's okay, this person, they just don't know, and making excuses for people when that wasn't my job. I wasn't supposed to do any of that. I was supposed to rise above, step into my power, and pursue the life of my dreams, which I've really, in short, cut myself off at the knees from doing because I just didn't want wealth or prosperity to taint my soul, you know? And now I'm ready. I feel like I'm showing up finally for myself with, I've done so much and I've gone through so much. Why would I keep stopping myself from living the life that I truly deserve? Maybe you're in my place. Maybe you feel the same way I do. Maybe you've come from families or parental systems that tried to keep you small, tried to make you subservient to your family, and then, of course, the black sheep of it, where your opinions are different, your view is different, you're unique, and you have dreams that you want to pursue, but you're not exactly sure how to get there. You're not exactly sure what steps to take now that you've grown and outgrown who you were, and you're ready to shed the skin into who you've always been meant to be. I feel like my father is very proud of me, um, now that my mother has passed, I've been able to heal so much in my heart from the things that she was too scared to allow me to be. And maybe I was shadowing and mirroring her fear by playing small, by being in the box that she designed for herself, really. Because it really didn't have anything to do with me. It really had to do with my own mother's insecurities as to why she couldn't stand up for what was right in the first place. She disobeyed my grandmother. In fact, a lot of my mother's cousins disobeyed the generational elders that were before them into how we were supposed to conduct ourselves, and thus spreading a lot of this toxicity onto my generation. And it shows, and it's unfortunate. But at this point, I feel like I'm ready to stand up for myself and really become the woman that I know I'm destined to be. So, follow my journey. It's gonna be big. I know now, because I actually have the hands to hold what God has always wanted for me. Ashe, and see you soon. Talk to you next time.